Hey guys.
I'm Bob.
I'm Barb. Together we make up
HetteshWorld.
It's Can-Am Ride Day today. What are we doing today?
We're going to take you through the state of Oklahoma on Route Old 66 and Route New 66. And we're going to visit some quirky items.
And some what? Oh yeah, and it's hot. Hotter than... So stay tuned.
So let's start out with one state, 8 cities, and lots of stops.
And I'm going to talk first about what it is like to ride when it's 100 to 115 degrees on a motorcycle. And that's what it's been our whole time, mostly in the middle of the United States.
Yep.
Normally we try to leave early because we want to get a lot of stuff done. This time we've actually had to limit things that we do on certain days because it's actually dangerous for us to ride when it gets over 100 degrees. It's very unsafe. So we try to leave as early as we can still, and we may only do a few things, but it's really hard to leave early when it's 90. It's still 3 in the morning. There's no early time to leave. And we try to be back by 11 or 12. Sometimes we were later than that, and then we're in 110 degree weather. And what is it like to ride on the back of the motorcycle in 110 degree weather? I would like to answer that question for you. Okay, imagine me. I'm on a roasting stick, spinning in an oven, swelling, cooking, bleh. And also you don't want to eat anything delicious and all the fun stuff that's out there because you just go bleh. So that's what it's like to ride a motorcycle. Do you have any comments, Bob?
Barb will ask, do you want the windshield up or down? Up or down? Up or down? That's what we're doing. Windshield up, windshield down, windshield up, windshield down.
So let's get on to our very first stop, which is going to be Chelsea, Oklahoma.
Route 66, or route as they say, Route 66. We're on our way to see nothing but quirkiness and old time fun.
So the signs you'll see for Route 66 in our videos are a little deceiving because most of 66 is gone. It's been replaced by other state highways and byways. So they did, some of these quirky items have been moved to the newer 66, but we did find some little stretches of Route 66, the historical Route 66, the original.
So we're going to try to tell you when we're on it, when we're not really on it, and when we're on it but it's paved over to something new. So what we have found is that there's a lot of things that used to be on 66 that may still show up in a Google search for 66, but they are gone and they're not really there. So you got to do a lot of research when you're out there, and it is definitely fading away quick, so you've got to get out there and see it before it's all gone. Chelsea mural, and this is a really good example of what was there in Chelsea and what is left there in Chelsea to see. Our first stop is going to be at one of the historic 66 marker signs.
So I'm going to give you some information about the Pryor Creek Bridge. It was built in 1926 and continued to 1932. It was 123 feet long, 8 feet wide, and 13.4 in height.
We could ride the camper through there.
Yep, it'd be tight. We'd be just as wide as the bridge. Well, I don't know. We're 8.5 feet, so we probably wouldn't fit through there. It's a Pratt design, so you've seen that on a lot of cover bridges.
So this is something that we're going to start doing as we find quirky places and we know they can put stickers. We want you guys to go out and see if you can find these places as well, but we're going to add our sticker to this pole here. And if you find it, we want you to take a picture of it or take a picture of yourself with it and send it to us on social media, because that would be awesome.
So we've done this. This was not on our list, but we may try to find it, and we may try to find that depending on where it is. But right now, while we're taking a drink break, because it's 950 billion degrees, BS stops. And BS stops is right here. And it goes all the way over here. So I'm super excited. This is a bucket list item for Bob and me.
We're going to try to hit more of 66 in our future travels, but this time it's just Oklahoma. Oh, why is this old record on the ground? The Gospel Men. Get all excited. Not good for gospel men. One more river to cross. He looked beyond my fault. Keep on holding on. Had it not been, then I met the master, which I might today in this frickin' heat. The touch of the master's hand. Ooh, this is some stuff that may not be for children. I think it's supposed to get to 105 and up today. Which doesn't matter. I'm a piece of meat. No matter how you look at it, cooking in the oven.
So our next stop you'll see is the Ed Galloway Totem Pole Village. It's the oldest and largest example of folk art. Started construction in 1937, finished in 1961.
3.5 miles off of the Mother Road. These are some of the major things that you can see while you're here. A 1955 bird bath totem, a 1955 smaller totem set, a 1955 arrowhead totem, a 1955 to built 61 tree totem pole, and a totem pole that was created in 1937 to 1948. It is 90 feet tall and hollow. You've got the fiddle house, which is where he created all of his works at, and lastly, a 1961 picnic table.
On our adventures is the Will Rogers Museum, and you may ask, who is Will Rogers?
He's Oklahoma's favorite son, of course. He was the person that said, I never met a man I didn't like. So who was he, Bob, you're asking? Well, he was a rope trick expert. That's how his career all started. When he was super young, he could hook and land anything he wanted, and I've got a nice showcase of all his saddles here that he ended up using. But from there, he became a famous vaudeville performer, performing with the famous Sigville Follies, of all things. And he was a movie star, a social commentator, but he died in a plane crash in Alaska at the age of 55.
His museum is definitely worth seeing for sure.
Takes about maybe a couple hours to go to.
Yeah.
It's not very expensive. I think we spent like $5 a person.
Yeah.
And you can do a guided tour. They start you out and just kind of explain the saddles in the main room and tell you what's going on. And they've got a lot of his movies and stuff playing, but
Yeah.
it's pretty neat. I was super excited to go there because I was a fangirl.
Yeah, well worth the money. So our next stop will take us to the Blue Whale of Katosa along Route 66.
It's a beloved historic landmark, and it was built by a gentleman named Hugh Davis, who was a zoologist who envisioned the whale as a special place. That's part of the beginning opening with what? It was created in 1972, and it's still in its original place, and his daughter runs it now. So what is neat is that you can still picnic there, you can still fish there, but you used to be able to go swimming there because they got a little slide off the one side, but it says you're not allowed.
So our first stop in Tulsa is the Golden Driller, which is a statue that's 75 feet tall, weighs 45,000 pounds, and it's off of Route 66.
Our second stop is the Buck Adam Cosmic Curios. It's a gift shop now with an old 66 statues outside featuring the Buck Adams Space Cowboy Muffler Man. It is also off Route 66. For our third stop, it's the Meadow Gold Milk Ice Cream Neon Sign. It was created in 1934, and it was built on an angle so they could annoy the nearby dairy rivals. I like it.
Yep. A
Bitchin'.
little sassy. So our fourth stop is something that's very cool, the center of the universe.
The so-called center of the universe in downtown Tulsa is marked by a small concrete circle in the middle of a large circle of bricks. It's not much to look at, but looking at it really isn't the point. The center of the universe is a little-known mysterious acoustical phenomenon. If you stand in the middle of the circle and make a noise, the sound is echoed back several times louder than when it was made. It's your own private amplifier echo chamber. Go back there, because it says if you make any noise, it's supposed to amplify back.
How you doing? Yeah, you can hear it. Gives you an echo back.
You heard it?
Yeah.
The worst part about this with the echo, hopefully you can hear it, is that it smells like freaking piss.
Yeah.
Really bad on the center of the universe.
It's a city.
Can you hear the echo? Oh my God, how does that work?
It's weird because you get like an echo back.
Yep.
Like you're talking to an auditorium speaker.
Yep, and when you're out there, as you saw when Bob did it and I did it, you can't hear it. So my voice sounds like this now, and I'm gonna say, HetteshWorld, 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 HetteshWorld. Can you hear the echo? Echo, echo, HetteshWorld. So we want to talk just a little bit about the so-called center of the universe.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was the center of the universe or not, but it was definitely awesome when you walk through that area where they had it marked, and the sound would definitely sound like you were magnified.
It was hard to catch it on camera. It's so funny if you're standing outside that circle, like when he was doing it inside, it sounded just normal.
Yeah.
But when you were in there, you were like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, you get like a weird echo stereo effect.
Yeah, and I could not find any explanation online on how this occurred or why it occurred. So if somebody knows the answer to that, comment below.
I would think it's something to do with the sound, how it bounces off the buildings, but that's just me thinking out loud.
I mean, even with all that piss, it still echoed.
Yeah, it stunk.
Our next stop was the world's largest praying hands. It is 60 feet high, 30 tons, and it's part of the Oral Roberts University. It is the largest bronze statue in the world. It was created as healing hands originally as part of Oral Roberts Medical Center, but that center failed, so it got moved to here. So the next item is a Route 66 neon sign park. Now all the signs have been moved here. There's the Tulsa Art Court, the Will Rogers Motor Court, and the Oil Capital Motel signs. Those are the neon signs that are here. And you used to be able to park somewhere, which you can't really do anymore, and walk around them, but it's kind of just all overgrown. So it was very difficult to even get a good shot of these.
Yep. Next visit is for the East Meets West, and it was dedicated in 2012, and it's where it shows a 1926 Ford startling a horse pulling oil field workers' wagon.
And its whole purpose is to kind of show the old clashing with the new.
Yep. The world's tallest gas pump. I was in this industry for 40 years, and I did a lot of restoring of these old visible pumps.
It was definitely a must stop for Bob, a bucket list for him.
Pretty cool. Inside is a spiral staircase that'll take you up to an observation deck.
Our next city is Chandler, Oklahoma, where you have the home of the 66 Bowl active bowling alley. Now, of course, it was closed while we were there, but it is the world's longest bowling lanes. It has vintage bowling signs and also vintage gas signs and gas station signs all over the parking lot. And it is definitely off Route 66.
So our next stop takes us to the Threat Filling Station. This is located on Route 66, and this was known to be one of the only Black American owned service stations on Route 66.
And it also had a cafe so people could stop and enjoy a meal.
So next we went to John's place, which for me was just incredible because it was not expected. We pull into this gravel parking lot. There's all this eclectic stuff outside, all this crazy stuff from some Route 66, some that we found out that John actually made. Walk up and also we hear a voice yell, "Hey, I'm over here." And this is John. He is working on a gas engine still inside of his shop. He walks us around the whole entire, gives us a tour. It's a collection of everything.
Yeah, it's a collection of everything, so we'll try to identify things as we go. But it's free inside and it's free outside, so we're going to show you the outside, then we're going to take you inside.
Who remembers these? Barb's call and collect.
Yes, I've got the drugs. Can you come? Hey, are you filming me? No change. That's what we remember the most about phone booths. Part of our era.
Well, it was pagers.
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 And the chicks with pagers. Whenever you used to call home or something, it was always collect or how many change I can take in there, but mostly at the end, about drugs.
Petro Man.
What does this say here? On this site, 1897. You ready for it? Nothing happened.
Like the devil. We got a crashed car, Volkswagen coming out of the building. Visible pumps. I used to restore those.
Yep, when Bob was young and he first started working in the fuel industry.
I restored several of those.
We finally figured out what UFO means. UFO means Unstable Fishermen's Organization. Easy to miss. We drove right by it. But you just got to know what you're looking for. We used to have a parking meter at our house, and what was funny is when people would show up, like we'd have parties, whoever parked by the meter would put a quarter in because they thought they had to. How long have you been here doing all this, sir?
About 25 years.
Okay. Yeah, you pop up in the top 10 things to see on Route 66.
Do what?
You pop up on the top 10 things to see on Route 66.
I can't imagine.
Bob and I are going to go sit.
This is the beetle that's sticking out of the side of the building, and he bought a complete beetle. He put a half of it down there on the back where we took pictures, and here's the other half sticking out of the building.
They used the motor for something.
Remember when this used to be your only air conditioning, the wings? You had to buy a car with wings.
So this is pretty neat because let me show you. If you look outside, you see that's where we were down there. There's Spidey, and you can see the front of it sticking out.
Where we were sitting.
That's where we just were. Very talented man. I mean, it's totally free to come here and check things inside and out. Bob's thinking about tossing it in the Can-Am and taking this three-wheeler here instead. And he said it's a Malibu, right?
Yeah. He's got an ingenious mind, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Just history, and he's making the history every day. It's really neat.
So the next place we went was definitely a recommendation by John, and it wasn't even on our bucket list, but across the street, just a little bit down, was original Route 66.
Yeah.
So we decided to ride on it because he told us Paul McCartney had been on that road.
Yeah, we didn't even know it existed, because you can't see it from his thing, and he just happened to say, hey, if you guys are riding, go over there. It's like maybe 6 miles of the old 66.
Yeah. Call it 66. You're not really on the original road. There's very little bit of the original road left, and Purple on 3 has a lot of great videos that show you where it is and then it isn't. What we're about to head on is the original Route 66.
Yeah, from John's place told us about this. Is right across from his shop. So he says go across the street. That's awesome.
So let's get our kicks for real on Route 66. Anytime we can find the original road, no matter how bad it is, we'll take it. So we're super excited. We're actually riding on the original 66, and it's pretty long that we've been riding on it, but it takes us down to here.
and then can take us out to the regular road. But getting to ride on Route 66, they've got a historic marker back there, and they've also got the place where Paul McCartney asked for directions. Super cool.
So we drove by one of the most famous stops on Route 66, which is the Arcadia Round Barn.
Yeah. Our next stop takes us to Pop 66 Soda Ranch, which is a restaurant, the world's largest neon bottle. It is 4 tons, 66 feet tall.
It's got multicolored LEDs, and it was established in like 2007. Weirdest thing that it's known for is that it's got the largest
soda collection, but all around the inside of the building they got bottles that are glued in place. They're full of soda from all over the world.
Yep, and it's also got that old time candy. When you left Old 66, you ended up on the road nearby, and that's where we went to Pops.
So when you're out eating with Bob and Barb, and we're actually at Pops on Route 66, Bob always gets
A single.
and Barb's got a double.
Bob, are you smoking?
I want a cigarette. How long has it been since you've seen candy cigarettes?
I don't know. I got the need, man. I got the need. This is the Oklahoma Milk glass bottle. It does light up at night. I don't really believe that you can go into the building anymore. And then people do pay to have their information up there on it. But that's that. So our next stop is the Alfred P. Murrell building, which was the site of the Oklahoma City bombing. Now that's not actually going to be featured in this video because that's a video by itself. It's very emotional.
Yep.
Very similar to 9/11 Museum. So we're going to have a separate video coming out soon on that.
Yeah, if you were around in 1995, you definitely remember that.
Yep. Our next stop is the Centennial Land Run. It celebrates the opening of the unassigned land in Oklahoma with a huge land run in 1889. There's 45 figures, and it has the world's largest bronze sculpture. We already have the world's largest bronze sculpture with the praying hands, but I think that's largest maybe on height. This is largest on length because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
And it definitely captures the frenzy of what people were trying to go through when you tell them, free land, go out there and get the best sites. I mean, there was stuff falling out of wagons, there was horses collapsing, women carrying children while riding horses. I mean, it was horrific to see.
Yeah. Our final stop will be the Rock Cafe, one of the original cafes on Route 66. It took 3 years to build. It was built by high school students and opened in 1939.
So we definitely had to make sure we found a place where we could stop and eat at an original cafe, and that was a lot of fun.
There's a lot to choose from along the old 66 that you can still go into and enjoy a diner.
So this was our first delve onto Route 66. There were some things we couldn't go through because it just got to be so incredibly hot, and it just wasn't feasible for us to survive and go see them. And at one point we even took the truck at one point. Sorry, we had to cop out and do the truck to see a few things that were important to see.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't all in one day. We definitely was over several days.
Yep, several days and several weeks.
Yep.
So we are going to continue our Route 66 trip and bring more exciting things to you with Texas, and then going into Missouri, I think it is next year.
Yep.
So you're going to have to stay tuned for future 66 stuff because we really liked it. So we hope that you like this video. Give us a thumbs up. Smash up that notification bell. Bob wants you to...
Well, I want to say hopefully this video made you a lot smarter about Route 66 through Oklahoma, because it definitely made us smarter. And we love the comments, so we'd love you to give us a comment. How much Route 66 have you been on? Have you been on some of the old Route 66? We know a lot of it's gone now,
Yeah.
And there's very little of it left.
We're HetteshWorld.
Come travel in our incredible world.
Bye.
Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done.